Welcome to the Funny Guy Timmy podcast, where I, Funny Guy Timmy, interview interesting people in show business, where I ask them interesting questions about acting, comedy, writing, and voice acting. Warning, this show may contain language and some offensive material. Today's guest is comedian and actor Luke McClory. Alrighty, hey guys, this is the first episode of the Funny Guy Timmy podcast. This is not my chinwagon podcast. I wanted to do a show that's more one-on-one with people instead of a big group thing, because it is funny, but those do get rather jumbled, and we never get to ask the questions to the interesting people that I know, like I wish I did. And that's really the reason that I put together this show, is that over the years, I think it's been like 9 years since I've done the Funny Guy Timmy YouTube channel. I've gotten to know some very interesting people in acting, people in comedy, people in writing, directing, and voice acting. And so that's what this podcast is my interviewing these interesting people and y'all getting to know them. Today, I have a good friend of mine in stand-up comedy. He's a Austin, Texas local. He's born and raised here, which if anyone who lives in Austin, Texas would not believe that, and he's going to explain probably why. He was recently on a movie called Road Hard with Adam Carolla. You can find it on Amazon, I want to say like Hulu, or...
I don't think it's on Hulu yet, but it is on several video-on-demand services.
Yeah, there was like a list of 12.
Yeah,
it was insane how many places it got posted, which is kind of uncommon because mostly it's just like on a few places. But this is like it's all anywhere, you can find or buy movies, like iTunes. Well, it's probably there.
Yeah, because he's independently distributing. I'm sure he doesn't have to worry about any contractual obligations to certain, sites.
Right. And again, we're gonna talk to him about that. And then you're also doing, if I'm correct about this, Speed Mike on the 6th. Is that correct?
I did it yesterday.
Oh, you did it yesterday. Mm-hmm. Darn it! Do you have any other upcoming?
So if you guys are gonna be out downtown yesterday, I'll be out.
If you've already done this and now you're listening to it, then
first give me the winning lottery numbers and then go see the show.
So anyway, my guest today is Luke McClory. So thank you for being on my show.
Thanks for having me. I'm a big fan of the show. I can't wait to take some calls.
I wish I could do that. I've tried doing that before. It just didn't work out.
Nobody called?
Well, no, it's not that nobody called. It's just I could hear them, but it didn't come up on the system. And so it was just me, a rambling idiot and a lunatic. So delete. I mean, that never happened. That's actually what I meant to say.
I see.
Anyway, you've lived in Austin, Texas your entire life, pretty much?
Well, except for 1 year in Los Angeles. I lived there right after I graduated college. I went out there to do like acting and stuff. But it turns out that it's like hard.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so like it's actually out of frustration towards the end of my time there, I started doing open mics.
But Disney movies make it look so easy, though.
I know. You just kind of have to, and you never are like intentionally auditioning. You're always like with a friend who is going to audition, had prepared very much, and then
you're just there holding their Dasani water bottle.
Yeah, and then the casting director comes like, "What? This looks like the perfect person. I don't care what your resume is. Get in here and be a star now." Can
you sing and dance too? Yeah, kind of. You're hired. Just immediately, you get a sitcom. You get a sitcom. You like Oprah with sitcoms under people's chairs.
And the dramatic twist is that they were hoping that you'd fail because they were going to make a lot of money from this, but it turns out you were doing really good, and now they're trying to sabotage you.
Oh, that's the worst. So they try to hook you up with some loser guy. It's probably one of the Jonas Brothers. Try to hook you up with one of the Jonas Brothers and just cripple you emotionally, and you just collapse. And they sell so many magazines. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how it goes. So for guys, it's hard to get into the business unless you're a boy band. But for women, it's probably just be a blonde, basically.
Well, it's just that there's a lot of them too. I mean, it's not. I mean, as many parts as there are for blondes, there are like about 10,000 times more. So it's still a very competitive market either way you look at it.
So it's more who's more blonde.
Yeah, I learned that by trying on a blonde wig to get more parts, and it turns out they liked first of all they like natural blondes better.
What?
Yeah, and then they just like natural women,
So you didn't.
That was the bigger stumbling
You
block.
didn't have that going for you.
Yeah, I can't really dye, the other parts.
You left the eyebrows.
Yeah.
You left the eyebrow. Oh, too bad. That was probably and you probably didn't put enough makeup on the 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah, that's another thing is that, it's attractive to a certain set, but apparently it's not quite mainstream yet. So
Not yet. Wait for Hillary.
Yeah.
Wait for Hillary. Then it's going to be like then you could try again. You could try again if you wanted to. What was your agent? Like did you have an agent in LA?
No, that's probably part of the problem.
That might have been. Not that it's impossible. Not that it's impossible.
Well, sure. It's just that, when you start out and you don't have any representation, it's very much a chicken egg thing. Like you can't get any work without representation, but you can't get any representation unless you've done good work.
Yeah.
And so it's similar to getting in the union and stuff. So it's very
Getting in the mob.
It's very difficult to get a foot in the door. You end up mostly doing student films to start with, which even the student films, because there are so many good film schools there, they're always very high production quality, so they're not bad to have on a reel,
right,
and such. So as long as your acting is good, that's another stumbling block.
So just the list goes on and on.
Yeah.
The cards just weren't in your favor?
Well, I think I did all right in the stuff that I was in. It's just very difficult. In the meantime, you have to worry about eating. Most of the work you're going to be doing early on is not paying, or it's extra work, and so it's minimum wage. And minimum wage in California, even though it's a little bit higher than it is in Texas,
the cost of living is
insane. Living is so much more in Southern California, even in a cheap neighborhood.
Yeah,
that you blow your margins completely.
It's hard to calculate such fees and prices.
Right, and on top of that, you've got to pretty much all auditions and shooting schedules are like Wednesday afternoon at 2.
Yeah.
When almost when 90% of people have to work their day job and can't get the time off.
Yeah.
So that always made it difficult. I did have to turn down like a couple of things that I thought would be really fun to do because I just couldn't. I had to make money in order to make rent.
Is there any projects that you can name off the top of your head that people might be able to look up right now?
Well, there were a couple of Austin-based projects actually before I had left town. A couple web series that I was in. One was called Call Center. It was basically an office politics kind of sitcom-ish. It was actually pretty funny. I liked it. I liked doing it.
Is it still going on?
No. It was,
it was like a mini series, like just a few episodes, or
I think. Let's see. I can't remember exactly how many episodes there were, but they were usually somewhere in the area of 5 to 8 minutes episodes each.
Okay, that's not bad.
And I can't remember exactly. I think they did like 20 maybe.
That's not bad.
And then one I did actually before that was a little bit more high concept called Chew the Fats. It's FATTZ.
Yeah.
And the premise of the show was that a like gangster rapper guy had got dropped down into the 1950s and was hosting a write-in advice show. So people would write to Louis Fats to ask for advice.
Yeah.
And I was his sidekick, Dale, native of the 50s era. So my job would be to like react off his riffs and be like a complete square. But every now and again, I'd like throw out some hip hop term that I had absorbed from him, but just use it all wrong.
Like, oh no, you didn't.
Yeah. The big quotable line from it was me saying, "Booty poppin'."
Just you saying that, just
it was exactly that inflection too. So
just with that, where you could hear the smile.
Yeah,
nice.
And so that was those two were about 3 to 5 minutes each.
Yeah.
But we did like 50 of those, and I did that my part all in one day, because it was all for my shots. It was all single setup. And it was me reacting off Louis' dialogue. And so they shot it with me just reacting the reaction shots all the time. So it was like an 8-hour day of just standing up there and doing these things. And sometimes I would have to react off ad-libs he had done.
Yeah.
So I'd have to ad-lib my own reaction to that.
Which
was,
is fun, right?
Well, it's fun for like, I would say for no more than 7 hours. And then when the 8th hour comes around, then it's a little exhausting. Especially like, I like wearing a suit and everything, but under lights for that long a time, with makeup and everything else, it starts to wear on you a little bit.
You should go Jehovah's Witness and have like the no sleeve, like
I don't get those.
the short sleeve.
I don't understand.
And the tie. I think that's why. I think that's why they invented that for those guys, because they walk and bike all the time.
Well, I'm sure that's why, but it's listen, you can just roll up the sleeves of the long sleeve one. You get exactly the same thing that you would out of the short sleeves.
It's true.
But you also look like you've worked harder too. I've noticed.
Yeah,
because you've literally rolled up your sleeves.
Yeah, it looks like your day is coming to a close, but you're still at it.
Yeah. Whereas the other way, you just look like you've come from the chemistry lab, where you're spending an unnecessary amount of time to get a good grade in your class.
So would you say to new talents, don't go to LA?
Oh, I don't know. It's actually when I was in college, I was studying theater, and a professor of mine gave me some advice saying, don't go to LA right away.
Yeah.
Travel, work, date, live life, become an interesting person first.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which really resonates with me as far as, and it kind of makes me rethink whenever I say, I wish I'd started comedy sooner.
Right.
No, I'm glad I, lived a little bit of life first before kind of focusing on this.
Yeah.
Because there is a tendency to be caught in a bubble, as it were, and it happens with theater people a lot too.
Right.
You spend like, your days in school and then your nights doing rehearsals and productions and stuff. So that's your entire life. So you're not really venturing outside your bubble and comfort zone and such. So you don't really experience as much as you could.
Right. Yeah. I personally on the comedy thing, I believe I started comedy too early.
Mm-hmm.
And because I can look back at like everything almost before moving to Austin, and I'm like, it's all trash. It's all garbage. Burn it. It's got to die. I think only recently, I've been accumulating stuff that I'm more or less proud of. Mm-hmm. I can see that there's like much improvement left to go. Like I'm actually to the point where I can actually see ahead and see where I need to be. But I can tell that the stuff that I was doing, that I was getting paid to do, was not like I was stealing. Mm-hmm. I was robbing these people, and it was unfair. Just taking money from party people and just families that probably their kid needed braces, but it went to me and my dumb jokes and my stupid Christopher Walken. That's just where it went. And you're actually one of the reasons that I didn't go to LA this year. Technically, I had plans to be there now, but I decided not to. And you're one of the reasons why. Not like well, he can't make it, but you did give, because there was a lot of people that were telling me that I should. Mm-hmm. And now the thing is that most of these people weren't exactly like, a lot of them were friends that aren't in show business, that don't do comedy, that don't do that kind of stuff. Yeah. And so even though there was a lot of them telling me that, oh, dude, you're totally ready, I was like, I don't know, I don't really, I don't. And so you with your experience, even though I already knew it was going to be hard, I wasn't thinking that, like, oh, it's going to be so easy. I'll just go in there and immediate sitcom, which, by the way, I'd never want a sitcom. I don't know why. It's one thing that would be almost like a nightmare for me.
I would take it. That'd be fine.
Like
being on TV, like apparently, especially if you're a supporting actor in a sitcom.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's basically stealing money.
Yeah. Being the supporting character, because you get to more or less create the most weird character. You get to really create it. But if you're like the star, it kind of really is determined by the script a lot more.
Yeah, and you got to show up for meetings and stuff.
So boring. But I would want a talk show like that. That I'd be cool with. Just a very random variety kind of show, because I couldn't see myself doing like the same thing over and over and over again.
Not a lot of downtime with that though. Like if you're a major workaholic, I suppose that would be fine. I feel like I would get fairly stressed out with the constant, especially if it was a nightly talk show kind of thing.
Yeah.
Not that I wouldn't take it.
Not that you wouldn't
ride
this train as far as it'll go.
Yeah.
When the train just stops with steam. All right, getting off. All right, we'll see you later. Kind of.
Or you could be like, Lennon on Letterman and keep going even beyond the point where it's run out of steam. Have the passengers get out and push it further to keep the momentum going.
And you're still pulling that cord even though there's no steam in the engine. You're making no noise, no sounds. Yeah, very much like that. But so I didn't go, and I really feel that it was a good call. I can totally tell that I was not ready to go. I think maybe in like another year and a half, maybe if I'm like vast improvement, because I've only recently, I'll tell you, in the past year, actually come up with a comedy analysis system. Does that make sense?
I'm picturing a big bat computer now where you feed stuff and you get a punch card out. It's aha. Yeah.
It's like, I know what chemicals he's using. I don't even got to use my bat brain. But I don't know what writing system, because you are really good at comedy writing.
Oh, thanks.
I can always tell, because I've seen your bits. You have a very you're really good at memorizing. I've very rarely seen you just go, oh man, I totally forgot. So that tells me that you write it very specifically. You have a real good idea what you're planning before you even start writing. And you've memorized it, and it looks like you're still having fun with the jokes even after telling it many times. That's one thing that I've noticed about myself, is that after, I'd say, about like 7 times, I start getting bored with it, and that's when I start throwing new stuff at it, because I'm trying to keep it fresh for myself. But it seems like you still enjoy it.
Well, I mean, part of it is that I don't really script it out. Like, I don't write it down word for word how I'm gonna say it.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, I'll barely write it down. I'll just write down. I have a little Word file that's got, a series of incomplete sentences as far as the jokes go. That's enough to remind me of basically how it goes. But that allows you some freedom to, reconstruct the sentences each time in your mind, so it sounds fresher when it comes out, and it doesn't sound like you're simply recalling, the Gettysburg Address or something.
Which I'm pretty sure would be funny to some people. Gettysburg, people died.
Like, dude scored 4 times.
He's safe. Exactly. Just so I can do, and they just walk off. That's similar. That's kind of similar to what I do. Now, I don't write that much. That's another problem that I have. It's mostly because I'm dyslexic, and also the jokes that I write, almost like verbatim, I've never done. I've never done these jokes. Because I don't find them funny. Like, after I write it down, like, I'm thinking that's going to be good. Yeah, and I'm right, and I get to the end, and it could be funny. That's the thing, is it could be funny, because there's a big difference between something being funny on paper and something not being funny on paper, and then it being the opposite when you do it.
Well, what I find is really the most helpful thing to me is just going to shows and open mics, and you listen to other comics, and then you write down their jokes and use them when they're not around. you.
Show business 101.
No, because a lot of people will hit on similar general premises, or at least reference points of starting with that maybe you didn't think of. Then it kind of makes your mind percolate. Oh, what's my opinion on this?
Yeah.
Is it different from this? Is it a different take? And then a lot of the time that will inspire you to come up with something, and then you can try that out the next night. I haven't been as good about actually in the last year going to as many open mics as I should.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah. So I'm trying, now that Funniest Person in Austin is over, it's sort of a start of the new comedy year.
Yeah.
So my new comedy year's resolution is to try to do more open mics, maybe 3 or 4 a week.
Wow. It's a good goal.
Yeah. And to try to really write more.
Yeah, I do that kind of like that keyword thing when like, because our comedians keep their phone with them or a piece of paper like at all times.
Mhm.
It's like it's a unwritten. Well, it's not an unwritten rule. It's
Mhm.
it's a rule. It's one of the few that we have.
Mhm.
I mean, it's mostly an no holds bar with comedy, but that's one of the few rules. When something comes into my mind, I'll write like a few words,
Mhm.
like kind of a weird structured sentence that reminds me of that joke. A great example is this is a joke that I haven't like told on stage yet because I'm still like working it out. But it's a story. Something that actually happened to me, and the phrase that I use is creepy tire Mexican.
Mhm.
And I know everything about that bit. I know everything about that story. And I have this grading system. I don't know what you use, but I use the A, B, C, D, and F system, where you do your bit, you record it, and then you give that joke a rating system, what you would give it. And I also do the laughs per second.
Mm.
I know my average laughs per second is now 8 seconds.
Mhm.
So every 8 seconds I get a laugh,
Mhm.
which I think professionally it's like 6, like like the guys that we inspire to be
Yeah.
are getting like every 6. Now that's not saying that my jokes are like A's,
Mhm.
all A laughs and A jokes, but I can feel like I'm starting to get better. And so using that system, I can guesstimate if I really push myself in like a year, 2 years, I might be able to really head off to LA. That's my idea.
Well, that's certainly more than I've ever analyzed. How like I've never timed the laughs and
It's
everything.
making me weird now.
Well, I don't know. Like I don't know if it works or not, but if it works, then fine. I just don't. Like it never occurred to me to analyze it on that deep a level, that intricate a level, I suppose.
Okay.
Uh,
So what do you use? What's your system? How do you know when you do a joke that it's a keeper, and how do you know that there's jokes that need work and where?
Trial and error. Do it at 4 open mics and see how it goes.
So you do the same joke 4 times,
Mhm.
different open mics,
Mhm.
and then you just think. I mean, you don't write it down. Like there's not like a.
Well, I mean, I'll jot down the general premise in my Word file and everything.
Okay.
And if it works, then I'll keep it in the rotation, and if it doesn't, then I'll just get rid of it. Or what I'll do is I'll leave it in there and see and come back to it later, see maybe if there's something I can do with it later.
Okay. Have you ever has there ever been a joke that didn't work that you really liked? You liked the premise, you liked the idea, and you've like done something really radical to fix it, or
Let's see.
like adding jokes together, for an example.
I don't know if I've ever successfully done that. At least not that I can think of. There's lots of stuff that's that probably out of lack of effort that I haven't gone back and fixed. But there are some premises there that are I think that have potential.
Yeah.
Like I had one about baseball announcers. How I think it would bring a lot more people interested to the game if they could show a little bit of interest in the sport that they're calling. But
I think I've heard you tell this once.
Yeah,
It sounds familiar.
Yeah, but it's always and it doesn't matter what happens in the game, how exciting it is. It's always the same monotone. Count 1 and 2. Pitcher steps up to the plate. He's about to throw it at McCluskey. McCluskey has not been hitting very well today. It looks like a great shadow is being cast over the field so far. Is it some sort of eclipse? I'm actually noticing it's a large unidentified flying object that's descended over the stadium. This is interesting. Not planned by the stadium officials, I don't think. They seem to be in sort of a panic. The ship is now descending into the middle of the field. Count still 1 and 2.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that coming all the way back.
Yeah, and eventually it's just it just descends into like the aliens have come out and blasting people with ray guns and stuff, and just the same monotone throughout. But
Yeah.
I haven't really figured out how to cap that well.
Like a good ending on it.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. That's often, I think that's the hardest part.
Yeah,
that
probably.
and then segues. Like it's the closer and then the segues.
Mhm.
One of the things that I figured out for a lot of the times when I can't figure out a closer is that I'll shorten the joke and pull it back to the best joke.
Maybe the best punch with
Yeah,
it.
the best punchline.
And screw the narrative.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Just kind of like pull it back. And sometimes I've been able to like take that end part that I have decided how to end and move it ahead so it still keeps its length, but then I still end up with a good closer. There's been 2 jokes that I can think of that I fixed by adding them together. They were both like C's, but they were like I liked them. They were good C's. And they made me laugh, and they get relatively good laughs. But then I added them together, and now they're one of my stronger bits. Like that together with those 2 jokes blended is one of my stronger bits. I say it's like
now it's a C plus.
It's a C plus, exactly. It's a C plus. I'm actually really brutal on myself. Like I give it like awful scores, and so other people are like, it wasn't that bad, and I was like, no, burn it, kill it with fire. Like that's how I am, and I don't know if that's a good thing. Is that a good thing?
Well, I don't know. I guess it's better than thinking it's really awesome when it's not.
Yeah, we all know comics like that.
But yeah, I guess I try to look at things a little bit more objectively. It's similar to when you watch yourself or listen to your own voice and you think that it was a mutant voice that or
who is this creature?
Yeah, and you can't stand looking at yourself, but then you have to remember that other people see this and they're not thinking it looks any different, and they're not looking at you with horror every day, so you must probably look okay in real life.
There must be something fine.
Yeah, and it's similar to when you're looking in the mirror and you see all the flaws and stuff, and people don't normally like care. You just have to, kind of close your eyes and take a, just kind of walk that tightrope and not pay attention.
Just pray that it all goes away. That's what I do.
Yeah.
I just dance around like a little fire, and I pray that it's just all better.
Well, it's like
hasn't worked yet.
Well, it's like, have you ever seen Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade?
Yes.
Remember he has to walk across that invisible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all your senses are telling you one thing, but you know in your mind that there is, that the opposite is occurring. So you have to trust your mind and put aside your senses.
There was always one thing that I thought about that scene. Is as a kid I was like, oh, that's the best ever. But then as I thought about it, I was like, that only works if you have only one eye working.
Yeah.
And are incapable of like tilting or walking in different.
Yeah, basically you have to be at the exact right angle to.
Yeah.
Or what I wish that he had like jumped for it, and then been surprised that being and just kind of
like a running jump.
Yeah, and
he's like, there's no way I'm making this, and he just like face plants.
Yeah. And it's probably thin enough too that it would have, gotten a good America's Funniest Home Video crotch shot in.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah.
I think it was.
If that had been in Crystal Skull, it definitely would have happened.
Do you consider Crystal Skull as part of the?
Well, I guess you got to, but
I mean, don't have to.
Well, I mean, the movie was so disappointing. I remember reading like some draft of the script that got leaked, and there was an awesome scene that was in the script that never made it to the movie, and
that always happens.
I can't figure out why, because it was so great, at least in concept.
Do you remember what it was?
Yes, it was right after. If you remember the movie, early on, Indiana Jones is accused of being a communist sympathizer and like suspended from his teaching job. Now, the scene that's in the script immediately follows this. He gets real drunk and is hanging out in the museum after hours. And he's just like, forlornly looking at all the stuff that he's brought back to the museum over the years. Mm-hmm. Saying everybody's ungrateful and stuff. And then he looks to the center of the museum, and in the center, on a pedestal, is the golden idol from the very first movie, the first scene in the big cave. After
the
golden idol that he has to try to get out, and the big rock is chasing him.
Yeah.
So he sees the golden idol, and it's on a pressure-sensitive alarm system. And he looks at it for a little while, and he says, "This time I'm gonna get it." And so he gets a bag of dirt, and it's just like in the first movie, and he makes the switch, and the alarm goes off. And
oh, that's so disappointing that it wasn't there.
I know.
It would have been way better than Killer Ants.
Yeah.
Way better than Killer Ants.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the last Spielberg movie, like the last true Spielberg movie for me, was Jurassic Park.
Wow.
After that, it's just not the same anymore.
So he's like just dead to you.
I think something about when he made Schindler's List just changed him. Like he can't go back to the sort of big kid thing that he used to do.
Now there was another movie that he did that a lot of people don't like, but if you really, really like look at it in the backstory to it, what was it? It was
1941.
AI.
Oh.
No, it was AI.
AI.
Because that was originally supposed to be a Kubrick film.
Yeah.
It was written for Kubrick. It was like had that Kubrick feel, and Spielberg wanted to be true to his friend Kubrick, and so he did it in a very and people were expecting a Spielberg, way of doing a film.
Yeah.
But it was actually when you look at it, it's very very traditional to his past friend, and I actually liked it when I heard about that because I thought just going in it was a Spielberg film.
Yeah.
But it was Spielberg doing a film for someone else.
Yeah.
And so then I ended up liking it more. And I think a lot of the time people, when they watch a movie, they have like this expectation or this idea, and then it doesn't meet their expectation, even though their expectation is, wrong.
Yeah. Well, I think the problem with that movie is that it was so jarring, the circumstances towards the end of the movie, and then this sort of epilogue thing that happens afterwards, like 3,000 years in the future or something.
Yeah. You're like, oh, now things are getting interesting. Roll credits.
Well, I mean, that's where they find, the aliens from the future find this preserved robot boy. It's sort of like an unfunny Futurama.
It was really kind of dark.
I mean, I barely remember any of that movie now.
It was a long movie. That's one thing that that's actually a big thing that I have is that long movies really kind of like are a beating to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's got to be an hour and a half. If it goes past that, you really have to keep my attention with explosions.
Well, I think
someone has to die every 5 minutes.
I think people like filmmakers of today. It's so weird how little attention they seem to pay to pacing. Of a film, and it doesn't even need like extremely high octane action sequences. You just have to keep the audience's interest.
It's very much like a joke.
I mean, and it can be low key scenes, but they just still have to be interesting and relevant. So you can have like big long like most of the James Bond movies, for instance, are well over 2 hours.
Yeah.
I think some of the best ones are approaching 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And it never really slows down. You never really get antsy.
Yeah, it's never just him sitting there talking to Q, just like, hey, how's your day? Like it's not. Yeah, there's if he has a conversation with somebody, there's a reason.
Yeah. Like
there's purpose. There's actual progressing the story in everything he has to say, or it's a witty one-liner that he says. So it's always something.
Or moreover, because he's such a good character, you enjoy spending more time with that character. You'd enjoy watching James Bond go do his laundry. Like,
because there would probably be some attractive woman there coming in and he'd say something that we were like, oh, I wish I said that.
Yeah,
that's Bond.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite
Air dry,
Bond?
not tumble.
Exactly.
Who's favorite Bond?
Yeah, favorite Bond.
Let's see. As far as favorite Bond actors, it's probably
because I know your comical answer to this.
Well, I actually my favorite Bond movie is On Her Majesty's Secret Service, the one with George Lazenby.
Nice. Okay.
Which it's very good action, very good music, very good pacing, unique sort of story in the sense of Bond's personal relationships in that movie.
Yeah.
Lazenby is a little like stiff in it, but I would say no more stiff than Connery is in Dr. No.
Yeah.
Like if you ever watch Dr. No, he acts really weird in that movie. He hasn't really found the character yet. So
yeah.
He's trying to be. He's really overdoing it on the suave department. He's not. He's not really being himself.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my favorite Bond movie. And as far as Bond actors, I guess Connery would be the best one.
Yeah.
I feel like
I think the reason we like him. Sorry to cut you off, but I think the reason we like him is because he's the one who really flushed out Bond for us on screen. Like before him and even during, like through half, it was really who is this character, and we're really trying to figure out. And then everyone else goes, oh, I got it.
Yeah.
So I think that's why.
Right. I do feel like Roger Moore gets a little too much crap for stuff that wasn't his fault. Like the fact that it was the 70s.
Yeah.
Like he can't help the fact that he had to he had to have bell bottoms. Like you just can't get out of that era without.
Look, I'm sorry. We wore this.
Yeah.
You know, you look at it now, like everybody looks at the 70s now, oh,
yeah,
why?
My older brother used to wear like some like very loud shirts and
bright colors.
Yeah, because it was the late 80s and early 90s. And, you know, we see a picture of him and try to make fun of him for it. But, you know, it makes a good point. He's like, I wasn't the only one wearing them.
Yeah, it was the planet.
Yeah.
The planet basically had an entire flowery shirt wrapped around it.
Yeah.
Mine would be Pierce Brosnan. Because
he's gotten a lot of crap lately.
He has.
Yeah.
He has. The reason I liked him because of the Bonds, I found his wittiness the quickest. Like his jokes just seemed to fly the fastest. The other guys, it was like they were playing suave when trying to be witty. He was witty, and then there was scenes when he was suave. Like he divided them. Also, the action, I believe, was better. It was during a time when they really had better choreography. There was better fighting. There was explosions. Again, this is my ADD talking. And then, you know, so for me, he's probably the one that would, you know, and then just after him is Sean Connery for the same reason that I just explained. So, you know, and then the new guy just after them.
GoldenEye is the best of the Brosnan movies.
Yes.
I would say I haven't seen Die Another Day in a while. I remember disliking that one quite a bit, but I saw World Is Not Enough more recently, and it's really like it's really
For you, it's 50-50?
It's really let down by Denise Richards so badly. It really is.
Yeah.
Like she's very much a kind of black hole in a otherwise good movies. She does the same thing to Starship Troopers. She and Casper Van Dien. Like that movie. That movie is like a 2.5-star movie, but it would be a 3.5-star movie with different lead actors.
That's true.
But because they're in such prominent places, they really sink the movie. Everybody else does a pretty good job.
Yeah.
In that movie, you got Michael Ironside.
Yeah.
You have Neil Patrick Harris.
That guy's funny.
Yeah.
That guy's hilarious.
Yeah, but and moreover, he's like shows a little bit of depth too because his character. And this is sort of all subtext, but his character becomes very much more dark as the movie comes along.
Yeah.
Because he's dealing with such high-level, serious crap, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I would totally agree. This is one thing that I've talked about a lot to a lot of people. Is a lot of the times people blame the actor for a bad movie, and I think that's unfair. Many times. For example, Harrison Ford is a great actor.
Yeah.
He's done a lot of great stuff. To look at, the Crystal Skull and then just blacklist him, that's come on.
Yeah, I mean, that movie is not... I mean, he certainly did his part to sink that...
He did the best I think he could.
I still think he's, like, for the last 10 or more years, has been phoning it in. Like, in fact, I can't really think of a movie after Air Force One where I felt like he was really trying.
I would agree.
Like,
I would agree.
Is that the last Harrison Ford movie? Like in quotes, that
I would say the last 5-star five-star.
I like kind of bracketing the the last great whoever movie.
Yeah. Like
the last great Schwarzenegger movie. Do you remember which one that is?
I would say Last Action Hero. It's either that or Jingle All the Way. I can't think of a...
I would say that it's True Lies.
True Lies?
Mm-hmm.
I might agree.
Yeah.
I would have to agree.
Yeah.
Not to say that I didn't enjoy Last Action Hero and Jingle All the Way, but I liked them for a different reason.
Right.
Because throughout that movie, it was just him making fun of himself.
Right.
And actors that can do that, especially when there's like a script designed to make fun of themselves, and his over-the-topness adds to the comedy. It was like, who started to eat my cookies?
Yeah.
Like that just makes me laugh.
Right.
But like an actual, like he's an action hero. That's his genre. What was the last thing that he was in that really?
I mean, it's hard to even call something like Jingle All the Way an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, even if
you really probably could have replaced it with almost anyone.
I mean, yeah.
It could have been Harrison Ford. Like
Yeah.
it could have still been him. Who said you could eat my cookies? Like just and they just scream.
Right. And then like the last great Sylvester Stallone movie, I guess I would probably say Rocky.
Stop or my mom will shoot you.
No. I guess I would probably say Rocky Balboa.
That was his first movie.
No. The final movie that Rocky.
Oh,
VI.
okay. Okay. I mean,
There's been a lot of title confusion with Stallone because like the last Rocky movie is called Rocky Balboa.
No, I thought the most recent one was just called Balboa.
No,
it's called Rocky Balboa.
Yeah, and then the fourth Rambo movie is just called Rambo because the first one was called First Blood.
Yeah.
And then the second one was Rambo First Blood Part 2, and then the third one was Rambo 3.
Yeah. Yeah, he does have that problem.
Yeah.
He does have that problem.
Although I did enjoy Rambo, the fourth Rambo.
Yeah, I liked it. It was good.
I describe it to people as 80 minutes of fun and adventure. it's just a glorious amount of violence, like
and just insane.
Yeah,
amount of violence.
It's so over the top that it's comical almost, but it's still it harkens back.
Yeah, it doesn't take you out of it
to a more innocent and bloody time.
Yeah, it does. Which was interesting because the first Rambo movie, he didn't kill anyone.
Yeah, I have actually never seen First Blood.
Yeah, I have like all of them.
Oh, really?
I haven't seen all of them. I've seen the first one and I've seen the most recent one. I love the most recent one. First Blood is, of course, it's aged.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we can still say that it's good, but if you were to compare them to what we consider action movies,
mm-hmm.
First Blood is let's be honest, it's streamed down there, and that's one of the reasons. And in the book, Rambo kills a lot of people,
mm-hmm.
so the more recent movie is more true to the real character than First Blood is. So I gotta say that. Now, I also liked Rocky Balboa. It was good. I like that kind of like that underdog, older. A lot of action stars are doing that nowadays, and it's good. We get to see our old action stars come back, and they're really playing to their age.
Well, it's funny because I do normally like that kind of thing, but I disliked, for instance, a lot of the Expendables movies.
Yeah.
In some level, I actually enjoy them, but really the fact that they're not acting their age, they're just pretending that they're just kind of pretending they're still 35 or 40.
Yeah. It's like guys, these are takes. We're seeing takes.
Yeah.
We're seeing the best of like 30 takes.
Yeah. And it's similar actually to a problem I had with Crystal Skull again, is that Harrison Ford does not act like he's 50 something to be generous.
Yeah, he gets punched in the face like at one of the first scenes of the movie, and you're like, he should actually just have broken his jaw.
I mean, he seemed like he was more susceptible to injury in the first movie. There's that great scene right after I think the big truck chase where he's trying to relax on the boat and he's all sore and can't get his shirt off because it's
yeah.
Which is part of what made it good is because he's not a Superman.
Yeah,
he's
human.
He actually gets hurt. There are guys tougher than him. And with the Expendables and stuff, you don't get that feeling, and it's unbelievable. Otherwise, you can't really suspend your disbelief that much.
Right. I'd have to agree. Because I remember a scene in the last Indiana Jones where he's just zipping in and out of tunnels, hunting down the pygmies.
Yeah.
And I was like, no guy his age would do that.
Yeah.
It's like guys his age he would have a grabber at home to grab the remote off the floor or just off the table. It's just too far from the couch. He's not gonna zip in and out of tunnels like human rat tunnels.
Mm-hmm.
And these guys are tiny. He's not fitting in there. He's not even gonna try. Just get out of there. Just just punch the wall maybe a few times and it'll collapse on them like moles. I would agree. The Expendables movies, I like them, but then a lot of times they're action movies, they're good, but the writing I don't really agree with. Like it's just bad guys doing bad things. There's no reason. There's no rhyme or reason.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those guys. I'm watching. I'm like, that would never happen. You know, you're in a truck. They're firing armor-piercing rounds. You're not going to hide behind the truck. It's just a regular truck.
Yeah.
It's going to take rounds. You're going to die. But it's always just like, oh, just they deflect. And then you'll see someone with like a handgun, and it just blows up a car. You're like, really?
Yeah, I mean, they really missed the point of why we're going to see those particular movies. Not really for the. It's not. I mean, it seems odd to say, but it's not really for the action in the movies, because it's never going to be as state of the art as when they were in their peak.
Yeah,
and it's not gonna. They can't compete with the Vin Diesels and the Rocks of today. So what they need to do is concentrate on the fact that we all want to see these guys interact, and they try to do that, but with like really dumb humor.
Yeah.
Rather than letting
us see it.
Yeah, well, I mean, like you look at looked at some early scenes in Predator, for instance.
Yeah.
Before the action really gets going, and it's just those guys talking, and Schwarzenegger and Carl Weathers clasping hands and biceps and stuff, and it's just it's fun.
Yeah.
And that's the that's the part, even more than the action parts of it. I think that's the parts that people remember the most. And they just didn't put the love into the script that they needed to on those points. In order to make those work. Normally,
what nowadays they just play like is these guys are old by them just saying, I'm too old for this, and you're looking at it, it's like you just walked away from a crashed jet, and you slid down concrete. You're not too old for this.
Yeah. If I think the Expendables seem to have been inspired by a movie called The Wild Geese. I don't know if you ever heard of that.
Haven't.
One. It was made in like the late 70s, and it had a bunch of like British actors who were kind of like past their physical peak.
Okay.
And stuff. So it had like Richard Burton and Richard Harris and Roger Moore and a few other guys, and they were getting the team back together for a last mission kind of thing, and obviously they weren't going to be great action. I mean, the biggest action hero at the time was Roger Moore. He's not exactly Jackie Chan on screen.
No, not anymore. No, he wasn't even when.
Yeah, not even. Yeah. Not even when he was like 20 was he all that great at it.
His leg, he kicked knee height. Like that was as far as he could kick up. I'm not going higher than that.
Yeah.
No.
So the whole any good parts that come out of that movie are the results of those guys sharing the screen together and stuff. So I feel like they blew the money on the wrong part of those Expendable movies.
What about what was it, Space Cowboys?
I never saw that one.
You never saw that one?
No.
That they really play to the age.
Yeah.
That they really do. It's not a bunch of explosions. It's really scenes of you seeing and feeling and hearing and going through their age, and it's really like played well. Each guy has like basically his own like physical condition now, whether it's sight or arthritis or memory problems or whatever. Like there's something going on with each guy, and that was a good movie.
Yeah,
that was a really good movie.
Another good example is Gran Torino. Even though it's a little bit more grounded in reality, it's still like it feels like a semi-realistic take on a tough old guy.
Yeah, I would have to agree.
He's not jumping from buses and stuff.
Not punching robots.
Yeah.
Oh no, my fist can handle it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, that's it for this episode. Keep an ear out for part 2 of the Luke McClory interview coming out soon. The royalty-free music on this podcast comes from Kevin MacLeod at incompetch.com. That is INCOMPETECH.com. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe, and keep your ear out for new episodes coming out regularly. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you later.